Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shaw-Yhi. I'm from the National Zhongxin University, Taichung, Taiwan. Today I'm very glad to share with you about this topic, Space Seed for the Future. We all live in the Earth. The Earth is crowded, and also there are a lot of problems for the environment. So humans are known for moving to the space. To move to the space, there are many situations we need to consider. The most important thing is we need a green stuff, including all the plants, trees, grass, and also many of the food we still need. So life in the future, except it's in the space, many of the general requirement is still very similar. We need a plant. So the Martins, many of us watch the movie. Some of us read the books. However, a few of us got inspired to use the story to teach plant science to students. We know there are many issues discussed about can potato really be grown in March. So some research, they got the soil from the Mars and try to grow some plant from that. Well, the result was controversial. Sometimes the seed cannot germinate due to many of the reasons. In reality, in the space, the life is not so easy. The food the astronauts consume are usually the packed food, the processed food, packed in plastic bag. No matter it's pizza or some others, it's packed food. So the NASA plan to grow food on future spacecraft and on the planet as food supplement for astronauts. The fresh food, such as vegetables, provide essential vitamins and nutrients that will help enable sustainable deep spacing pioneers. So this is what the NASA want to do in the future. Growing food in the space will be essential. So different project was going on to see how can a plant be grown in the space. So first one, like the sowing the seed for space-based agriculture. So the widow trees in an advanced biological research system was sowing. So actually, growing plant is not so easy. You need to be put the water in a sealed container, and the plant need to able to absorb this kind of floating water. So take that of ideas and thinking and technology to do this. So on the International Space Station, there's one called a veggie greenhouse. A modular was set up to do the study. So in these veggie modulars, some plants such as vegetables, lettuce were growing. And the astronaut got a chance in the space station to taste the fresh green. What an exciting thing to do, you know. After eating the packed food all the day, you can eat the vegetables. It's so great. However, moving from a veg modular to this full-size vertical planting system is far away right now. There's a big gap over there. There's many problems need to be solved by that. So the astronauts cannot have pets on the space. They can have the pet plant on the space. You cannot eat them, however, at least you can watch the green, bring you some hope, something to look for in the space. So we say the space vegetable growing is the future plan. And the other way we do the study we want to know is called a space seed programs. We try to know if we put a seed out of space for a certain period of time and then bring back to the earth, what will happen to this seed? So there are some project called a seed from space project, and the seed was put on the space. The conditions in the vacuum of space are quite harsh, and the seed must be able to withstand large dose of UV light, low pressure, and the microgravities. So the seed was put out of the space station and then bring back to the earth. So that's a very early time called a NASA seed, the Space Export Experimental Development for Students. This seed was from in space about the LDEF, which was launched April 6, 1984 on Space Shuttle Challenger and returned to Earth January 20, 1990 on Space Shuttle Columbia. So almost 6 years on the space. And the seed was given to students to do the planting. The astronauts, biologists investigated how seed would happen to back on the Earth after spending extended period on the International Space Station. The experimental they conduct on the Expose missions was much longer than many other ISS need experiment, and placed this seed on the outer of the station in the dead of space rather than inside. The goal was to understand not only the effect of long-term radiation exposure, but a bit about the molecular mechanism of this effect. So seed in a space project in a very harsh non-Earth condition out of the space station. So the export or experiment attached to the external of the International Space Station. The Expo-R experiment was equipped with 3 trays containing a variety of biological samples, including the seed. So this seed, either called a space seed or rocket seed, whatever we call them. So they were used for germination and the study the survival and DNA damage in plant seed exposed, such as for more than 500 days and 600 days outside the International Space Station. So it would depend on the size of the seed. The smaller the seed will be easily be affected by the environmental condition. Larger seed has a heavy seed coat, can protect them from all of this harsh environment. Okay, let's switch the gear a little bit. We can see this very pretty crops. It's called Formosa land squatters, grown in Taichung City, Taiwan. It's a endemic crops grown by the Aboriginal people in Taiwan. So one space center called Kibo is a Japanese experimental module, was launched in 2008. Provide a lot of opportunity for doing the research in the space. So in 2010 and 2011, they launched this project called a Space Seed for Asian Future project. They try to see what happened for the seed after exposed on the space for a certain period of time in the Asia area. You can see that's the originally country joined these programs. 7 countries joined the programs. Then latterly there's the other program called AHIS, Asian Herb in Space, start from 2016 to study also the seed in the space. So Taiwan to send it to outer space, the National Space Organization said lately, Taiwan sent planted to outer space for the first time. The Space Seed for Asian Future program is being developed by the Japanese Aerospace Experimental Agency. 9 nations, including Taiwan, are participating in the program this year, with 16 kinds of seeds expected to be sent to the International Space Station, where they will stay for about 4 months, then return to the Earth. This is the keyboard. So our College of Agriculture and Natural Resource, National Zhongshan University, has chosen the seed of Formosa lens squatters and also the Phalaenopsis equestris, which is a kind of butterfly orchid originating from lesser orchid, and also the sunflower and pig chili was chosen by other institutes from Taiwan. These 4 different kind of plant seeds will be sent to the space. During the past, there are also some other study were conducted in the Western country, such as the tomato sphere. The tomato seed was put on the space and then returned to Earth. Let the kids do the experiment about that. Since 2001, over 3 million students across Canada and the United States have worked by taking part in the Tomato Sphere program. This educational project hand-on approach to learning gives students a real taste for science. In 1969, July 16, Neil Armstrong said, "One small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." Taiwan kind of late. Until 2020 we start to join this kind of space project. National Zhongshan University just celebrated 100 years last year. So we are very glad since the 101 we can participate in the space project, and we believe in the future we can make more contribution to the space project. Thank you very much. That's all I have today. Wish you all the best.